Hey everybody, what's up? It's your favorite witch on the internet, Emma the Enchantress, and I am back. I took about a month and a half hiatus off of content creation from YouTube, my podcast, mental health. Let me know if you know. I have ADHD and have been depression prone and anxiety prone. I needed some time completely to myself to really find my why for this brand and this creation process. And not only the obvious why of being a single mom of three, I want to make some money, I want to have my free time, I want to raise my kids, but also the why behind the power within myself, the why, the unwavering confidence, the unwavering certainty in who I am. I needed to really face my demons to come to that reflection of myself. And I am so happy to be back at it and here to share with you guys. There's definitely moments I didn't think I was going to make it, but I'm here stronger than ever and super excited to share with you the things that I have been learning in my own growth and the way that my life has been reflecting everything from within myself. Life has been lifing and it is so magical and it's so easy and it's so attainable, and I am just squealing because I'm so excited to share this with you guys. The theme of the last few weeks in my life has been alchemization. I am a witch, I work with energies, and I also believe and have seen the different dimensions that we are capable of tapping into. So when I speak about alchemization, I'm talking about using the energy that may have initially been pegged as negativity and taking that into my aura and alchemizing it into an energy that works for me. So how does that complicated technique actually look like? It looks like me channeling the power of my mind. It looks like me making the choice of what I'm going to focus on and what I'm not going to focus on. It looks like me making small, if not micro, choices throughout the day to enhance my elevation. I'm a big believer in 1% positive change every day is more prominent in your life than big, huge changes in a lifetime. That consistent, slow build is what life's about. It's what life's about. So I've been learning these lessons. A thing that I have struggled with, a few things actually. I feel like the last 4 weeks have been me just shaking off the remainder of my demons. And I'm not saying that I am perfect or free of any kind of blemishes or imperfections in my soul or my heart. 100% no. But I am fully intentional in life these days. And I am fully rooted in who I am as an individual, in my authenticity. And someone who has been diagnosed with like, this is a mental health episode. Like, it's all coming out. I did not know if I was going to be this vulnerable with you guys, but my podcast is different than my YouTube content or my X content. It's like sending voice notes to a friend. I find this a very intimate space, and I love sharing these intimate reflections that I've gathered from my own life with you, because I feel like my podcast listeners are people you're my soulmates. You are so close to my heart. And I love your energy tapping into mine. And I love having the safe space to share these things that, as a influencer, as someone who's in the public eye, that may be deemed inappropriate, may be deemed as something to look down upon, may be deemed as weakness. But this group of my podcast listeners know that when you reflect things that used to be a weakness back out, that they can actually be something that catapults you in to the greatest success of your life. Alchemization. So an example of alchemization. I have been so aware of my mental health struggles over the last few weeks, of how cannabis use was enhancing depression for me, how anxiety would show up for me and then would result in me overeating or overindulging in laziness, how depression and feeling sad was just hanging over my shoulders. I had to really sit with myself and work through those feelings and And I made the choice to sit with it, to allow the pause in my creation for as long as it was meant to. And as someone who overworks and someone who has been prone to overworking, I used to work 90-hour work weeks in my healthcare career before switching to content. I have always been an overexerting person. So to just take a hiatus like I did, where I had absolutely no work responsibility, really effed with me. It really did, even after all the growth that I have gone through. So that was something that was a concern to me too. I was like, okay, why can I still not just be? With all of this work I've been doing on myself, with all this inner reflection, all this meditation practice, why can I not still, like, why is it hard for me to just be? Why do I still have shame in doing nothing? And I'm giving the finger quotes on nothing, because if you know self-development, inner work, when you are on a pause, one of my episodes a few episodes back was about the ebb and flow of life, and the ebb being the pause of life, where there might not be much movement, or there might not be much momentum happening. Things may not be reflecting exactly how you want them to be reflected. So when I was on this pause of creation with my content, I had to sit with that, and all of the feelings of shame that came up, I could really pinpoint where they stem from. I had a very work for love based childhood, and I'm not throwing any blame on my parents at all. I was raised in a cult, so the church raised me versus my parents. They were heavily under the church's influence in my upbringing, and that resulted in a very do this for this, do this for this. Like, it was always act oriented for my most formative years. So as an adult and as a mother, I've even had my children tell me, Mom, just sit down. And that was eye-opening to me. That was eye-opening to me. Being a parent, this conversation is all over the place. I'm having a really high ADHD day today, so the conversation is all over the place. So I really hope you're following. But as a parent, our children are the most beautiful reflections of where we need to grow, of where we still struggle in, of even lately what areas of my inner child need some extra love. And like, God bless my children for for the journey that they've been on with me, because I'm a young mom. I've had my kids since 18, so they have seen some things. You know what I mean? So God bless them, but they are the reflection of you. So if you don't like your kids, you gotta look into that. But that's a whole other episode. Okay, so the weeks from before this, when I was sitting with myself, I don't want to go into detail, but the depression that was over me was one of the heaviest that I've ever experienced. And again, being a spiritualist, I was wondering why. I was like, why is it so heavy? Why am I still struggling with this? And I'm not one for medicines. Like, I don't want to go on pills for these things. I prefer to self-soothe with organic dopamine. And I knew that I was being called to give up cannabis. I knew it. And I didn't like that, because I live very rural. I've been very secluded for the last 2 years. I don't have much ways of engaging in fun, like adult fun. So weed to me was that outlet for myself, where I could just sit back, smoke a nice blunt. And I was always intentional with my weed, nice flavor with it, put some herbs in it, some blue lotus, set the vibe. It was always a beautiful experience. My ancestors loved it. But I knew, and this is not saying anything against cannabis, I am a full supporter of marijuana. I love it. But I knew, for me personally, I had to take a whole month cannabis free. I needed to do that for myself. I was smoking 3.5 grams a day. And as a creative, I was making every excuse, like, oh, it enhances my creativity. It does this and this and this. It puts me in the vibes. No, it doesn't. It was enhancing depression for me. It was putting me in a rut. It was causing me to overeat. It was causing me to overthink. It was giving into unproductivity. I was lazy. I was sleeping the day away. I was so many things. Out of nowhere, And I've tried to quit cannabis a few times, but out of nowhere, just the last few weeks, I have been completely cannabis free. Haven't even craved it once. Even when I walk by, I smell it and I am good. I used to love the smell of cannabis. I used to salivate in my mouth when I smelled it. It was my mother herb. So during this time off of content creation, I have been creating myself. I have been looking at things that don't serve me in my life, like the excessive cannabis smoking, depression, anxiety, having my ADHD control my life, the sadness that I was carrying with me for so long. These things did not serve me, and I let them go. And not only let them go, but going back to the alchemy, I alchemize their energy into something that works for me in my life right now, that will enhance the positive energy around it. Because you see, negative energy is very powerful. This is why the evil eye thing, when people talk about evil eye, I'm not even bothered. I'm like, yeah, no, look at me that way. It's fine. Because the energy of the evil eye is so powerful for alchemists to use, and to use it in their benefit. Now you're probably asking how. Evil eye is prominent, especially as content creators. Content creators, leave me a comment. Let me know if you're watching and listening. As content creators, we are so exposed to this, right? We're putting our life out there. We're glamorizing every aspect of our life. Obviously, we're going to have jealousy. Obviously, people are going to look at us a certain kind of way, especially in my profession. I literally get paid to exist by men who worship the ground I walk on. That's going to F with some people. You need to, first of all, understand that everything is just a reflection. The way that they reflect to you is what's going on within themselves. Let it go. And then secondly, you need to understand that when you're doing something right, if you got to get comfortable with making people uncomfortable. Because if you are touching them in such a way that they feel the need to lash out on you in some kind of way, like, you are doing it right. So this energy that they're throwing out at you, the way that you can alchemize it, first of all, don't pay it no mind. Because where energy goes, energy flows. Don't pay it no mind. You are just like, okay, that's cool. They feel that way. That's them. That's not me. This doesn't serve me. I'm going to let it go. Don't even pay them any attention. You don't have to say a thing. Learn to live with minimal words. And I know that sounds funny coming from someone who gets literally paid to yap, but live with minimal words. Learn how to take things in instead of putting things out. So for an example with alchemization, let's just talk about the evil eye real quick. So to alchemize evil eye energy, I'm going to lay it out for you with an example. So what I like to do is I envision the complete opposite of what they're saying in my life. So for example, I had someone DM me on my ex account, "You're pathetic. I work. I'm 55 years old. This is the message they sent me. I have 2 kids and a wife. You're pathetic. Get a real job." My reaction, I was like, all right, that's so sad. There's no way in hell I'm going to be 55 messaging someone who's half my age with hate. So first of all, like, I feel for them that they felt the need to do that. And then second of all, don't respond, but respond mentally within yourself. Okay, this is how they feel. But how do I feel reading this? Does anything in this message trigger anything within me? No, I feel pretty complacent about it. Okay, cool. If there's anything that does trigger you and you feel the need to respond verbally to them, pause, look within yourself and ask yourself why. So say, for example, if this irritated me, it would be because I feel that I am pathetic. I feel that I am not doing enough. I feel that I should work hard, if not struggle, for my money. I would feel that way about myself. So every reaction from someone is an opportunity for reflection. And this isn't as exhausting as it sounds. It really does just become second nature. And it helps you step back from any kind of friction in your life. I used to be so reactive. I traveled with a baseball bat in the back of my car. I was reactive. People couldn't tell me nothing. This has completely put me in my peace. To just look at it, feel it, and let it go. Once you do this and once you let it go, that is when the alchemization happens. It happens organically. We don't have to do anything except be aware that we have this power of alchemization. We don't have to do, you don't have to light a candle to clear the energy. You don't have to burn some dragon's blood and open a window. You don't have to do any kind of cleansing. It's all in the mind. And this is coming from a witch. Some people argue that magic is simply manifestation. I agree to an extent. That is why my magic is so powerful, because I have an unwavering confidence that what I say goes. Because it does. Because we are powerful. Because our minds create our life. Change your mind, change your life. Alchemization, as complicated as it may have sounded at the beginning of this podcast, is the most simplest way of being. It is simply having an awareness that whatever doesn't serve you doesn't belong, and only good things happen to you. You need to have a delusional concept when you're living your life that you only attract good things. No matter what it may look like, it's always for my best. It's always for my best interest. It's always going to happen the way I need it to happen. It's always going to work out for me. I'm living my best life. I'm the main character. Life is so good. The list goes on. Just speak that into yourself. I am a full believer of subliminals, affirmations, all of that. They do work. Subconscious reprogramming, which I offer over on my Stan store, is game changing. You can reprogram your subconscious mind to inflict change on any part of your reality. And once you get into the habit, and once you understand the process, you can do it for anything. I did it for weed. I listened to subliminals to quit smoking weed. I did a little ritual with the weed. I did like my last joint ceremony. I was very intentional, and I have not thought about it once. Wait, that's a lie. The other day on my Self-Love Monday, I did think about go get a joint just to enjoy, because usually that was the vibes on my Self-Love Monday kind of vibes. I get like high and just enjoy my own company, but I did it sober. And it was better than when I indulged in cannabis. Even this creation process has been completely sober. And I think that I didn't have confidence in my sobriety and creativity. I always associate creativity with indulgence of some kind of substance. I always had this limiting belief that artists were completely overexerting on some kind of substance. It's so funny, because now it's been so much of a confidence booster for me to actually just produce content. Just for me, just for my heart, just for my soul. I am powerful. I am powerful. I can overcome anything. Maybe you're struggling with some kind of substance. Like I said, I smoked 3.5 grams every single day for years. I used to work in corporate, and I still showed up to work high. I called it California sober. What I used to do after indulging in marijuana blows my mind today, because this version of me would never. If I could quit, you can quit. I'm a single mom of 3. My life is supposed to be so stressful. Of course I needed a joint. If no one would have blamed me for my habit. But you can quit with the intention that you do not indulge in that anymore. That's as simple as that. You are not the version of that person that smoked cannabis, that drank alcohol, that smoked cigarettes, that party, whatever you want, whatever hangs heavy on you. It's as simple as alchemizing the energy of something that used to hold you in bondage. You're like, no, it doesn't anymore. In fact, it makes me more powerful. Let me know if this is like hitting, because I am so happy to be back into the content with you. And that brings me to wanting to share with you too how my content has kind of taken a bit of a turn. So figuring out this power that's within kind of gave me a God complex. As a Sagittarius, kind of low-key already had one. But I have explored the world of Findom, and my Findom journey has been nothing short of a spiritual experience. My Findom story is a whole other episode, because I used to do Findom about a decade ago, and coming back full circle into that world, but with a completely different dynamic, has been mind-blowing and something worth sharing for sure. But I'm just going to correct my ADHD and pull me back into the conversation we're having about alchemization and the power that we have with controlling our minds. I am a huge believer in the law of attraction, law of assumption, law of all the laws, in manifestation, in generating the life that you want by thinking and feeling it first. Feeling is the number one thing. Thinking comes secondary. I know for some of us adults, and I say this because I struggled with it, was imagination. When I was learning about manifestation, it was really difficult for me to even picture an easier existence. I've known struggle since a child. It was difficult for me to even picture how good my life could look. Feeling was easier for me because I could just tap into the feelings of security, the feelings of ease, the feelings of a free mind, the feelings of whatever that you desire to feel. With manifestation, you need to tap into those feelings versus the thought of, because the feeling is what brings about the change, which brings about it in the reality that you're seeing. So, for example, with my mental health break that I took, I was feeling low. I was feeling sad. I was feeling down. And this was attracting things into my life that constantly reiterated these feelings for me. So, for example, completely dry on inspiration with content, because that amplified the feeling of sadness. Completely binging on cannabis, because that amplified the feeling of depression, because that's what I was feeling. So what I decided to do during this mental health break was, instead of feeling lazy and sad with depression, I decided, no, I feel relaxed and intuitive. I am so hyper aware of my emotions. How emotionally strong am I? See how I changed the narrative? I am so lucky that I have such a relaxed existence that I am able to take a nap when I wish. I am so lucky that I generate enough income that I can just sleep the day away if I want. I also changed my scenery too. So instead of maybe sleeping on my bed, I would go out to the hammock and sleep outside, or instead of binge eating in my house, I would force myself to go out on my front deck in the sun in a bikini and then eat. You know what I mean? Like, catch a bit more of a vibe. So I had to force myself to change the atmosphere, which changed the feeling. So when I was overindulging in food, I was like, how wonderful is this right now to just eat to my heart's content in the sunshine. I am so lucky and abundant that I can overeat. How blessed am I? So you see, the alchemization makes you sound crazy. Yeah. But look at me. Look how I'm living. I am delusionally happy. I am so authentically happy that I get asked if I go pay for, the person at the till will smile back at me and will literally say, "You are happy." I'm just paying for bread. Yeah, I am. I have had people at the bar gravitate towards me asking, "What do I have?" I'm at the bar. Sometimes you need to be a little delusional to get what you want, because you're generating the feeling. And the feeling is what's going to cause change in your life. It is that simple. Because listen, the reality that we're living is simply a reflection of what we thought we deserved yesterday. So the reality we're living today is simply a reflection of what we felt like was our normal yesterday. Let that sink in. Something that has worked for me so much is being mindful of what I think about before I go to sleep and what I think about when I first wake up. This has shifted my narrative. And I had a conversation the other day about how I manage stress, and I am going to create a whole workshop for free on YouTube about how me, a single mom of 3, manages daily stress, because we live in stress. The world is stress. It is evident everywhere, and I have successfully managed it without a stable income, without any support, without any way of indulgences. Like, I'm literally in my witchy cave, surrounded by kids and chaos and life, and I am stress-free. And I think people used to pinball, well, she smokes weed. Of course, she's happy. But now that I've been sober, I'm just good. And I want to share that with you. So I had this conversation about what I do for stress free. So I'm going to create a workshop on YouTube to help share that secret of not managing stress, but curing it. No matter what the situation is, you can remain happy and grounded. And I'm so excited to share that with you. I completely lost my trail of thought. If you have any tips for working with ADHD, I made a voice note in the shower because I had inspiration hit, and I see it again, alchemization. I see it as such a positivity in my life. If you are a business owner, an entrepreneur, a content creator, and you have ADHD, you are blessed. You are blessed. How else are you going to be a success without having the hyperfixation on your business? Like, period. You are blessed. I have seen my ADHD really amplify since creating my own brand and my business. But it's been nothing short of a blessing because it has helped me dive into research, network like crazy, completely just create authentic, beautiful content because the internet has been such a safe space for me to do so. My X community, my FinDom community, hello everybody, you beautiful enchanted people, what's up? You guys have been nothing short of a blessing. I have never felt so seen and so taken care of and so reverenced for just simply existing. And if you watch my earlier podcast episodes, you know that was one of my affirmations. I am paid to exist. Guess who's paid to exist? In the most glamorous, glorious way. And again, with the alchemization, I have attracted up until now abusive, narcissistic, horrible men into my life who are nothing short of hell. And I produced 3 children with one of them. It only makes sense that, of course, I should be supported by hundreds, if not thousands, of divine, masculine, influential individuals who support me in my raising of my children, who support me in my femininity, who support me in simply existing in my essence because my essence is their sanctuary. Of course, it just makes sense that I was able to alchemize the energy of that. I could have been a destitute, down and out single mother of 3. I could have given into my trauma of being beaten to death or having narcissists constantly tell me what they think I'm worth. Alchemization, baby. And of course, that is what brought me my success, being worshipped by a masculine energy that I could have told myself was nothing but, like, was just garbage. I could have left that with the narrative, all men are shit, all men are garbage, all men are this. I'm raising a son. I'm raising a king. What benefit would that have done for him? Alchemization, changing the energy to work in your favor. We are such powerful, limitless beings. If you've gotten this far in the podcast, you are like me. You're that 1% of the population who knows that there is so much more to grasp out of this life. There is so much more life to be lived than just what you're experiencing right now. I see you, I commend you, I love your vibe, and I appreciate you so much for tapping into mine, and I love sharing my energy with you. You enchanted, beautiful people, this is the best space on the internet for self-development, spirituality, goddess worship, and just self-love. I am so lucky and so blessed to be promoting such a beautiful essence out into the world. And I'm back. And I'm so happy that you're here with me. Universal love.